Om. 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 Sairam, everyone. Just to recollect where we were last week, I think we were still at the same paragraphs, trying to understand what is this journey inwards is. I think we spent quite a bit of time how to turn our sight inwards. What does it involve? How does it relate to the external world and our interactions with it, and so on. So that's what we discussed last week. So we'll ask the sisters to read what we discussed last week and then move on. Sairam. Kalyani, please go ahead.
There is no need to seek truth anywhere else. Seek it in man himself. He is the miracle of miracles. Whatever is not in man cannot be anywhere outside him. What is visible outside him is but a rough reflection of what really is in him. The ancient belief was that Ishvara, God, ruled over the world, with himself being outside it. This the Indian seekers put to test through sadhana and revealed that God was and is in the world and of it. This is the first contribution of Indians to the spiritual world, that God is not external to man, but his very inner core. They declared that it is impossible to remove him from the heart where he has installed himself. He is the very Atma of our Atma, the soul of our soul. He is the inner reality of each.
Okay. So, Brother Prasad,
Yeah, Sairam, brother.
will you be able to read?
Yeah. Which one it is? Page number 20, right? In Telugu?
I think Satyamanakai Verekkadanu.
భారతీయ పరమార్థము దాని సత్యాన్ని కనుగొనుటకు. Is it what it?
No, brother.
Last week I couldn't make it, sorry.
Yeah, so it's a little further. I think next paragraph.
తత్వశాస్త్రం ఒక గ్రంథము కానీ. Is what it is?
Not really there. 1 second. See, if you Bharati Paramarthamu Dani Satyani Kanugunadu Manase, వారికి ఆధారం అయ్యను.
Yeah.
So we went to Parabrahmamu Punadi. ఇది ఏ వేదవాక్, I think just 3-4 sentences.
ఇది ఏ వేదాంత విద్యకు ప్రారంభము. Okay.
Punadi. Okay, but from next line onwards.
సత్యమునకై వేరెక్కడను అన్వేషించే పని లేదు.
For truth searching anywhere else, there is no use.
అద్భుతములలోకెల్లా అద్భుతమగు ఈ జీవుని యందు మానవుని యందు వెదుకుడు.
This wonder of wonders which is within this jiva, one has to search within one's man.
మానవుని యందు లేనిది ఎచ్చటనూ ఉండజాలదు.
What is not present in man cannot be found anywhere else.
వెలుపల కనిపించినది లోనున్న దానికి బింబ ప్రతిబింబం మాత్రమే.
What we see out externally, what is seen outside is nothing but the reflection of what is within.
ఈశ్వరుడు జగత్తు వెలుపల నుండే జగత్తును పరిపాలించుచుండును అను పురాతన భావమును వారు గైకొనిరి.
The Lord is present within the world and is protecting it. This is an ancient feeling which they had found, they discovered.
ఆ ఈశ్వర జగత్తు లోపల నుండిరి.
That Lord is within, he is within the creation itself.
భారతీయులు మొదట చేసిన కార్యం ఇదియే.
This is the first thing which the Bharatiyas did.
అతడు వెలుపల నుండి దేవునికి కాదు, అతడు వెలుపల నుండి దేవుడు కాదు, లోపల నుండి వాడు.
It's the God is not outside, but he is someone who is within.
లోపల ఉండివాడు. అచ్చటి నుండే అతన్ని తీసి తమ హృదయ పీఠికలను ఆక్రమింప చేసిరి.
From there they took him and made him rule their hearts.
మన ఆత్మలకు
Akra means take over their hearts.
మన ఆత్మలకు ఆత్మయై మనలోని సత్య పదార్థమై నిలిచియుండును.
He is the Atma of the Atma, and he is the true substance within, which is within us, firmly established.
వేదాంత తత్వశాస్త్రమును చక్కగా అర్థము చేసుకొన
I
గోరువారు.
think, brother, that's all.
That's what it is? Okay. Yeah.
Thank you. So, Swami is further talking about the inner world and what was discovered by the Bharatiyas, that God is only within everything. Even if he's ruling over the world, he does it from within. And that was the first thing they discovered, Swami says. If anyone would like to discuss any of these points, please go ahead.
In the English, it says that the ancient belief was that Ishvara ruled over the world with himself being outside it. So that part is not in the Telugu.
Yeah, so I think I was a bit confused in that part. Maybe I will ask Prasad to help.
Yeah.
See, Swami is saying, ఈశ్వరుడు జగత్తు వెలుపల నుండే జగత్తును పరిపాలించుచుండును అను పురాతన భావమును వారు గైకొనిరి.
అంటే found out.
Yeah, so what Swami says, God is standing outside the world and he's looking after that. It's an ancient view which they took in their hands, means which they leveraged initially. So what Swami is, I think, saying, initially people thought God is ruling from somewhere outside. They took that and then they realize Ishvara Jagattu Lopala Undiri means
I think he's saying ఈశ్వరు జగత్తు లోపల నుండే, అంటే from the outside only he was ruling. నుండే, like
so Kalyani, that statement, the ancient belief was that God ruled over the world with himself being outside it. The intent seekers tested with the spiritual practice and revealed that God was and is in the world and of it. So I think that was the first thing they did, because the original belief was that God rules from outside. I think I didn't translate it properly because Velupala, I think I ignored and I said he's within. But Swami is saying the ancients believed that God ruled from outside, but the Bharatiyas took that in their hands, that thought process, and they realized that God is not outside, he is within. So he is ruling from within, not from outside. I think the next few sentences state that.
And so I'm saying that's the first thing that the Bharatiyas did, was to say that the Lord is within creation.
Yes. Basically, they discredited the belief that God is outside. I think that was the first discovery.
And it's also saying, I think what you see outside is nothing but
a reflection.
What your reflection of inside.
Yes, Sister Aruna.
Brother, shall we discuss little bit on what is not in man cannot be anywhere outside of him? Because we need to understand that. Then only what is not in man cannot be anywhere. What is that?
So I think two things Swami says. What is not within man cannot be found anywhere else. Number one. Number two, everything what man sees is nothing but a reflection of what is within. Two statements. I think they're both related. So I will open it up for anyone to discuss.
So the reflection of him, I can see that what you think, you don't always shouldn't blame the world, is in you, not from others. So you have to, but always you see the right side of it, kind of meaning only I'm getting it, because everything is for something we have to see good. But I didn't get the proper understanding on whatever is in not in man cannot be anywhere. That's the one I'm trying to understand more. Thank you, Sarah.
Thank you. Sai Satish, please go ahead.
Saramana. So I'm just going back to the discourse that we studied last week, where Swami tells about the story where Narendra is coming back to his home. He's bringing the provisions, what his mother has told him to bring for the rites of his father. And even as he comes, it gets dark in the night. And there are two ladies, one a fisherwoman and another is a person who sells flowers. And the person who's carrying or the fish seller, she cannot bear the stench of or bear the smell of flowers. For her it is stench. So yeah, and she finally uses her own basket to sleep. That is one story, and Swami continues that same story. He says that the next day when they are he's returning and he sees a person who has fallen unconscious on the road there. Narendra sees that and he feels, oh, this person also would have served his guru like me, and he's now ecstatic and he's lost in that consciousness. That's what he perceives. Likewise, there are few other people who come by that way. One perceives that he has fallen unconscious. Another perceives that he has got fits like him, epilepsy kind of a thing. So what Swami goes on to say is what each person perceives on the outside is completely based on their makeup on the inside. So the anything, because what I see outside is actually the rope, but what is superimposed on that seeing is whether it's a snake or it is otherwise, and that superimposing completely comes from the internal makeup of what we truly have. Like yadbhavam tadbhavati can be said, or yata drishti tata srishti. That also, both of these quotes apply. That is in terms of how we perceive the universe on the outside based on the makeup on the inside. That is at one level. And to the second point, as to what is not within is not without, because everything ultimately is the reflection of. So we say mano moolam idam jagat, and so the universe on the outside exists because of the mind on the inside. If I become a amanaska or I become a mad person, then the universe on the outside, the what exists on the outside completely ceases. Or
I think Sai Satish just ceased.
Yeah, we lost him.
I think he sort of is demonstrating that. I think he's lost connection, it looks like. So I think, so he's saying that whatever we see has to be from within, because when the mind stops, we don't see anything outside. But I think Sister Aruna's question, that you can't find anything anywhere which is not found within. So I think Sister Aruna tried inside and found that there were things outside she's seeing which are not inside. So how can it be possible? I think that's a question. But yes, Brother Dasan. Dasan has found.
Brother. So most of the people try to search outside
Mhm.
the truth. The Atma is the eternal. So you
Mhm.
have to use your mind towards inside, invertedly. When you search outside, you are not going to search or you are not going to experience the Atma. You have to experience with Atma, then you will get the knowledge, everything. But what you see, everything outside, is all delusion. Thank you, brother.
So, Sairam Sai Satish, I think you ceased to, suddenly you demonstrated what it is to cease.
Yes, and I was happily speaking to myself, and then I realized that I'm out of the meeting. So, yeah, I don't know at what point I got kicked out.
Because you said when your mind stops, everything ceases. The external world doesn't ceases to exist.
and then I
And
see.
at that point in time, we all cease to exist for you.
Yeah, I think so. I'm just seeing, did I cover that part? And like in terms of Mano Moolam Idam Jagat, that did I
Yes,
cover?
yes, you covered this.
Then I pretty much covered it. Like in terms of, yeah, everything that I perceive on the outside is how I'm made up on the inside. But I'll stop. Sairam.
Sairam, thank you. Anyone else would like to?
Brother,
Yes.
that part, I'm just getting it. Whatever we are seeing outside is who we are. But it's all a delusion of how we imagine things, right? But I'm trying to understand what this Swami is saying. Whatever is not in man cannot be found anywhere outside. What is really is referring to?
Brother Dasan says everything outside is illusion. So inside only the real thing is. See, my understanding is, sister, see, when we say what is within, we are all exploring what is in our mind. That is the fundamental issue. Because we neither find it inside nor we find it outside. If our mind searches within its own self, within the recesses of the mind, it is limited. There are so many things you will not find outside, you will not find inside. But the thing is, what is within is beyond the mind inside us, which is the Atman. So that Atman is the one which is outside also. So if we can find the Atman within, you can find everything outside. So in Atman, which is inside, beyond our own mind, contains everything in this world, because that's God. Just the way externally also, God only is present. The same God who is present within is also present outside. So the thing is, if God is all encompassing, then world also all encompassing, because same God is there. So that's why Swami is saying, what you cannot find inside, you cannot find. So this is an assurance that within you there's Atman. Atman is nothing but God. God is all encompassing. So the principle which is all encompassing is within you, and the same principle is outside also. But it is easy for us to find it within us than outside. But if you just look at our own mind and imagine all sorts of things, that has certain limits. Number one. Number two, I think the next point, whatever we see outside is a reflection, yes. If our mind, to the extent to which we see inside only, we see outside also. The deeper we go within, the deeper will we go able to go outside. For example, if in our mind we have only negative emotions, that's what we are perceiving. We look outside, we will also find negative emotions outside. If we find Atman within, then when you look outside, you will see Atman outside also. So once you can find Atman within, you have found everything in this world, because it is all encompassing. That's my understanding.
So whatever is not in man cannot be anywhere outside. That means when you analyze whatever you are, that's what you find it. So nothing other than what you find it within yourself, you won't find it outside, kind of. That is the statement, right? Whatever is the not in man cannot be. Okay, I hope that's
Now, the reality is we have to find our Atman inside. Once you find Atman, you have found everything. But the problem is we are just, if I close my eyes and if I am not trained to see the Atman, I will not be able to see the Atman. So I will be limited in what I see outside also. That's, I don't know whether I have confused further. See, it's like, a person who wants to do a long jump, he has to go so back and then run. The further the person goes back, the further the person will be able to gain the momentum to jump outside also. So in the same way, if we withdraw within, the deeper we are, we will be able to see outside also to that extent. So the depth to which we travel inside will determine whether we find everything else. This is the scientific process which the rishis used to explore the world, universe. They found everything within. See, external scientists are wondering, how did the rishis find, these different movements of the stars and things like that? What type of telescopes they used? Their telescope was inner telescope. So that's my understanding. I'll stop here.
Yeah, thank you.
Can we also think, for example, whenever you come across any situation in society or outside, how you react is based on your intellect and the discrimination power, right? If your mind is negatively focused, you'll react negatively. If somebody who is positively focused, and he may see the same situation in a different way. So it all depends on how our mind, how our own personality is. Maybe that's what reflects our reaction. Maybe.
Yes. Thank you, brother. Anyone else? Yes, Sai Satish, please go.
And based on what you were saying, I just got reminded of this story of there's this sage, and because his counsel is so good, the king asks him to come to the palace and guide in the affairs of the kingdom. And the sage has only one condition, that he has that when he comes to the kingdom, he is given certain quarters, and nobody is allowed to come to that quarters when he has to go and make an important decision for the kingdom. And so this happens that every time the kingdom is posed with a difficult situation, this sage is consulted. Of course, now he is given the garb of a minister and so on, and he's guiding the king. But every time he has to make this decision, he would go off into this inner chambers, he would be there, and then come back and then give the guidance to the king. And every time this guidance would save the kingdom of peril. So with time, the king especially is very curious. What does he do in that inner chambers that he every time comes out and gives a piece of advice that saves them from all peril? So he's very curious about it. One day, curiosity gets the better of him. So he goes, and all that the sage had told us, nobody should disturb me when I'm there. But the king, now one day he goes, and when this person goes inside, he sees that all that the sage does is he removes the garb of the minister that he has, he wears again the mendicant or the sage's garb that he used to always wear, sit with his all of that kamandalu, that what he has with the begging bowl and all of that. He would just sit there, sit in that state of tranquility, make the decision or get the guidance from within, and then come and tell it to the king. So when he comes out, of course, he knows that the king has already seen him, and he says that now that you have gone back on your word, I have to leave. But essentially, it just comes back to the point that when we have to solve anything on the outside, it is more about going deep within oneself and finding, because the solution to everything on the outside is inside. And that is where I think it really, like what you were saying of the long jump going back and then leaping forward, I think it's the more we go deeper within, the clarity arises to guide on the outside. Saira.
Thank you very much, Saisa.
Sorry, Michael. In the first sentence, it's saying that the wonder of wonders, which is within this jiva, one has to search within himself.
Yeah, so Swami says, Adbhuta mulalo kella Adbhuta magu, which is the way the chapter's titled, the wonder of wonders, which is this jiva. Within this jiva, or this human being has to be, it has to be found, it has to be searched. See, Swami Satyamunakai, verekkadanu anveshimpa padalnadu. Search for the truth anywhere else is no use. So it has to be searched within the jiva, within the human being, is what Swami says.
Oh, okay. So the wonder of wonders, which is this jiva. Oh, okay.
Ee jivani antu. So this jiva is nothing but the wonder of wonders, which is the Atman itself. It is wonder of wonders because it has forgotten that it is Atman. So it has to find within oneself.
So the truth has to be searched for within this human. And sorry, Auntie, go ahead. You can go first.
No, go ahead, please. I thought
when Swami saying the Atma of the Atma, what do you think he's referring to there?
So Swami saying, Mana Atmalaku Atmeyai. So this is the Atman within the Atman. Manalone Satya Padarthamai Navichyanda. So the Swami saying, so the thing is, Atma is that which makes the us function, the body function, the mind function. But Paramatma is the Atman which makes the Atman itself function. This is similar to, Chidakasha, Chittakasha, Bhutakasha, like that. So the divine principle is minuscule, even compared to the mind. So what Swami is saying, this, Swami says, I think Krishna says, I am the essence of, in everything, I am the essence. Okay.
Yeah.
So the essence of the Atma is God. The truth itself, the truth, Satya Padartham, is the one which is the Atman of the Atman. Means you go within the Atman and find the Atman of the Atman, that is truth. I think why Swami is saying I think that's a question you ask. Because my understanding is the Jivatma is a spark of the source. So, but the spark itself gets its, origin, the origin is the Atman. Okay. So, to that extent, even the Jivatma is energized or, given life to by the Atman, which is truth, and it doesn't change. Unlike the Jivatma, actually, which is sort of bound by the world to some extent. Is my understanding, that's my interpretation or analysis of that statement. I will ask others to share. Brother Yoga has his hands up, so I will ask him.
Sir, we some idioms in the back we says அண்டத்தில் உள்ளதான் புண்டத்தில் உள்ளதுன்னு சொல்லி அண்டத்தில் உள்ளது புண்டத்தில் உள்ளது.
Macrocosm is microcosm, yes.
Yes,
Yeah. So what the yoga is telling is what is in the macrocosm is within the microcosm also, you know. It's present in the small, every particle contains what is present in the entire whole. Thank you. Anyone else would like to share anything?
Brothers, it's a little bit of digression, but I wanted to ask you that question from Sai Satish. Sai Satish, you mentioned about the story, right? The sage when going into the room and changing his thing. What is that is implies like that mean he has to outside he's not focusing kind of something? I was thinking to my mind.
Sai Satish, did you go and see that sage?
No, even
I'm that sage, and don't take it away from me. So I'm sorry.
what is that like?
Yeah. So
Lines?
I'll just attempt to answer, sister, and Anna can correct me. So when let's see the setting, sister. So always this person now who is wearing the garb of the minister, he is in the kingdom doing the duties of advising the king. And when the mind is externally focused, there is so much of distractions. So that is where I think even I think today only we were discussing about Vanaprastha and all of that in the study circle. But so what I'm coming back is, even if it's a sage or a saying, in terms of staying focused, in terms of staying at the level of the Atman, to make an unbiased, objective decision needs, that is where we go from satsangatve nissangatvam, right? So that nissangam is always needed to either way, whether you go to nirmohatvam or this side of being in that state of unbiased to give an objective thing. So it's more of, I think, a symbolic representation that every time when we have to do something on the outside where we are dealing with the worldly matters, to be in the companionship of the Atman, because ultimately, whether we are at the level of the buddhi or ahankara or whatever, at the manas, whichever stage we are in, to get in companionship with the Atman, to make a objective decision, that part of solitude and being in companionship with Atman is needed. And that is where I think the story symbolizes that sage going back and reflecting on who his true self is and not getting caught. So what happens is, even a person like Bhishma, when he was in the company of Duryodhana eating the rice, the food coming from that, we know what happened. He says ultimately when Arjuna shoots all the arrows at Bhishma and all of the bad blood flows away and the good blood comes, then he is able to advise Dharmaja. So even though the sage by himself is pure, but when he is staying in the kingdom, all of the tamas and rajas will come into that person, even because of the external surroundings that they are in, whether what the food they eat through all of the senses. So for that person to stay objective, they have to withdraw within, give that solitude so that the sattva prevails, and then come back and make a decision based on that sattva so that it guides. So I'll stop.
Thanks a lot. Thanks a lot. Yeah, that clarifies. Yeah, thanks a lot.
Thank you, Sai Satish.
Also, if I can add, I think what in a regular day-to-day also, for example, if you're trying to find a solution for a common problem, I think you need to look from the problem of the other side point of view. I think maybe that's what the symbolically, because the king is trying to find a solution for the public. I think the person is removing his ministerial everything just to so that he can become himself as a public and think in that direction, in that angle, so that whatever helps for the public, the decision would be like that, not from a king point of view, maybe putting yourself in their shoes, maybe. Thank you. Sorry.
Thank you, Brother Sai.
When Swami is saying this is the first thing that the Bharatiyas did, isn't it the second thing? Because the first thing was that they thought Ishvara was outside.
Yeah, I think we discussed this a little earlier also, So I think in many places Swami has said the first step in devotion is to realize that we are not the body, we are not the mind, we are the Atma. That's the starting point of devotion itself. I think it's Sandhya Nivarani Swami says. So our Bhagawani,
So,
I think
So-
Kalyani asked you.
Sorry.
Yes, brother Rajagopal, you can.
yeah. For my understanding is that Atma is one. It is everywhere, inside, outside, and everywhere. That's the same Atma is there. First, as Swami said, that we had to go inward, then find the Atma there. That's most difficulties there. No? We have to purify our heart and everything. No? And then we find the Atma. After we find the Atma inside, we can find the Atma outside very easily. If we go first to find the Atma outside, we cannot find it. If you recognize inside our Atma, then the same Atma is outside. We can find it easily. Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much, brother. Thank you. Kalyani,
Yes.
we lost you for some time.
Oh, really? Oh, can you hear me now?
Yeah, we can hear you. So we're just discussing. So I think you asked what is the first thing. So first thing is realize that we are the Atman, we are not the body, we are not the mind. That's the first step in sadhana. Before that, there's no sadhana. And that's what Swami says in Sandhya Nivarani. So I think to realize that God is within is the first step. Because once you do that, then all the sadhana of it, the inward journey will start. The inward journey has to start once you realize that, which is what the Bharatiyas did. Otherwise, we are running here and there, everywhere externally. And so it doesn't help. So the Bharatiyas realize, oh, it's futile. God is within. We have to find him within. I think that's the first step. That's the way I understand.
Very simply, you need to turn on the switch to get the light. So that switch is within you. You find the switch, you turn on, you get the light. That's how I am taking it. Thank you.
Thank you, brother. Thank you. Okay, I think when it's okay, we can proceed further. We can take the second step.
Those who desire to grasp the supreme vision of Vedantic philosophy have to understand a few fundamental ideas. Philosophy is neither a book nor the work produced by one person. The supremely great Manu has named this Bharat as Brahmavarta, the region of Brahma, the spiritual area where the quest of the one immanent and transcendent principle originated and succeeded. The festive cavalcade of saints engaged in the quest began its march over the continents from this Bharat itself. Like mighty rivers from a huge mountain ranges, the stream of spiritual sadhana for the discovery of the higher truth sprang from this land itself. This land has announced to the world its spiritual message with the confidence and courage of thunder blasts emanating from the womb of clouds. When inimical forces blasted into Bharat, this holy land bore the brunt of the blow. It had to present its heroic chest before the attack and absorb the initial impact. Many times this land had to bear these invading thrusts and suffer fierce injuries. But yet, this land has not fully lost its fame and glory and its steadfast strength on this path.
Thank you. Brother Prasad, we can continue.
Yeah. వేదాంత తత్వ శాస్త్రమును చక్కగా అర్థము చేసుకున్న గోరువారు ఉదత్తములకు కొన్ని భావములను గ్రహింపవలెను.
So all those who want to understand or study and understand the meaning of the Vedanta texts, scriptures, they have to, at the beginning, they have to get certain, some fundamental principles have to be understood by them.
తత్వశాస్త్రం ఒక గ్రంథము కానీ ఒక్కరిచే రచింపబడినది కాదు. ఒక గ్రంథము కానీ ఒక్కరిచే రచింపబడినది కానీ కానే కాదు.
So this the science of this principle, it is not one book, one text, or it is not something which was found by one person alone.
మహామహుడగు మనువు బ్రహ్మవర్తము అని పేర్కొనినది భారత భూమి.
The Manu, who is greatest of the great, called this Bharat with the name Brahmavarta. Region.
కాళాంతరమున ప్రపంచమందంతటను వెళ్లి విరిసియున్న ఆత్మాన్వేషణ మహోధ్యాయము ఈ భూమి నుండియే ఉత్పత్తి అయినది.
As time progressed, in the entire creation, where people have sought the Atman, that search began in this land, initially.
ఈ భూమి యందు మహానదుల వలనే పారమార్థికోద్యమములు కూడా ఉద్భవించినవి.
In this land, just like great rivers, the search for this Paramartha, the supreme meaning for life, also originated.
మేఘ గర్జ రావముతో తమ ఆధ్యాత్మిక సందేశమును లోకమునకు చాటినది.
Like the thunderous clouds, the knowledge, the teachings of this spiritual knowledge was spread to the entire world.
భారతదేశము మీదికి శత్రుదాడి వెడలి వచ్చినప్పుడు భారతదేశము మీదికి శత్రుదాడి వెడలి వచ్చినప్పుడల్లా ఆ ధాటి ప్రఘాతమునకు ప్రథమమున మారొడ్డి నిలుచు భారమును ఈ పవిత్ర భూమి వహింపవలసి వచ్చెను.
When inimical forces towards Bharat, when they came and fell on this land, they showed their chest. They faced them with the chest, and this Brahman, this weight was they had to bear the great burden of this onslaught on Bharat.
ఆర్యావర్తము పైకెత్తి వచ్చు దురాత్వముల కాటుపోటులకి ధీరభూమిలోని దండిమగల వక్ష ప్రదేశములే మొదట గురి కావలసి వచ్చెను.
Okay, sorry.
Complicated.
I think we'll break it. Aryavartamu paiketti vachu. So the region of the Aryans came up this against this opposition or
Evolution.
Kaatu potulaki. What is
fighting? Fighting, right? Kaatu potulaki, I mean the argument.
Dhira bhumilo. So they fought with all of them. The Arya principle, the Arya spirit actually rose up and fought against this. Dandimagala, Vaksha, Pradeshamule. They had to face lots of injuries, I would say. Modata Guri Kavalasi Vachan. So they had to, that was the initial impact was borne by them when these inimical forces fought with them.
ఇట్లా ఎన్నోసార్లు ఘోర హింసలు అనుభవించియు ఈ భూమి ఇప్పటికీ తన యశో వైభవమును తన బలమును పూర్తిగా కోల్పోలేదు.
Even though there were many such horrendous experiences and onslaughts, this land, even today, has not given up its fame and its strength. It has not given. It has been not been lost completely.
I think that's what it is.
That's-
I
I
think
think that's all, I guess.
yeah. I think all those complicated words that Swami was using in the Telugu, it's more to reflect they had a number of fightings on
Yes.
all those things, I guess.
There was a lot, lots of himsalu means they were violent skirmishes with foreign forces. In spite of that, they have not lost the strength as well as the fame which this land had originally. So Swami is, I think the Swami is trying to explain to people that I think there's always thought, the Bhartiyas were weak people, others came over and overtook. What Swami is saying is, even though they were very evil forces which fell on Bharat and attacked Bharat, these people who had this knowledge of Paramartha, supreme principle, they were able to face them fearlessly and fight them off. In spite of so many such attacks, they have not this knowledge, and this is not lost even today. So I will stop here.
Is he saying that, I think, is it because of this positive energy around Bharat made them survive, right? I mean, basically, all this because of this positive energy that's developed over the period. No matter how many fightings and invasions happened, but they still survived, I guess.
Yes, brother, thank you. Yes, I think wherever such forces have gone, they were able to uproot anything which was present in those countries and lands and change everything over. But in Bharat, they have not been successful, I think, because they were relying on this force within, the knowledge within, and the strength within. They were unable to completely eradicate Sanatana Dharma. I think that's what happens. So I will stop here. Anyone else would like to share any thoughts?
Brother.
Inder?
Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
It's okay, Auntie. You go ahead.
No, you go ahead. I'll just have a small question. That's it. Go
Oh,
ahead.
okay. A quick question as well. When Swami saying this land has not fully lost its its fame and glory, like in the English, it kind of comes across as, when you say, oh, someone hasn't fully lost their strength, it means they have just a very small amount of strength, almost. That kind of a meaning is implied. Is that the same in Telugu?
Yeah, I think the way Swami is Purtiga, like means they were unable to completely eradicate it, but I think to a great extent it has been lost in India, which is a fact, and I think Swami is that's the reason avatar is also needed, because it was almost lost. It's most people don't know today in India about anything about Sanatana Dharma. That's a reality. Most people. I would say 80-90% people don't know, zero knowledge about Sanatana Dharma. And if at all anyone has knowledge, it's very cursory, superficial, shallow, and generally some superstition and dogma. That's the reality. The knowledge of Sanatana Dharma is present in pockets among very few people, I would say. I think that's what Swami is referring to. So, yes, there has been a decline, significant decline in Bharat also of this Bharatiya Paramartha. I think that's what Swami is referring to.
Maybe instead of considering as some piece gone or not gone, maybe they always come back. Maybe that's the thing. In a symbolical, we can say they have a lot of issues, but they always come back because of this energy.
Thank you, brother. Thank you. Yes, brother Thasam.
Yes, I am, brother. Because of the people in Bharat, the knowledge, Vedantic philosophy, even though they study it in the books, Vedas, all the other spiritual books, but when during the invaded time, they burned everything, even destroyed the temples and everything. But the Vedantic philosophy within their heart, even completely they destroy most of the temples and everything, still they are following the Hindu religion in Bharat because of the Atma. Most of the people or some people, they realized or merged with that one. They proved that people. Then the people started to follow those kind of spiritual path. That is a reason they couldn't ruin the Hindu religion to Hindu philosophy. Thank you, Brother Saira.
Thank you, brother. Thanks. Anyone else would like to share any thoughts, please?
Brother, see, Bharat, the region of Brahma, then it's not really referring to India alone. Am I right? Yes. So can you touch on that Bharat again, the meaning, please? Then it's not only referring to that region. A region of Brahma. Am I right?
See, I think Swami has, I think there was another discourse. I don't know whether I think in our center we studied a discourse, sister. Swami says, who is a Bharatiya? He's defining. In that, he says there are two things which define a Bharatiya. The first one is to recognize the Bharatiya principle. So the land is also of equal value. The father is the land. So first people should recognize this land as the source of that knowledge, number one. Number two, they should subscribe to the way of living of Bharatiya. Then wherever they live, they are Bharatiyas. So the land also, the region, physical region also matters. Okay, but that does not remove anyone else being a Bharatiya. Wherever you are, you should recognize that as the motherland of this truth. Number one, then you should practice the truth. So the geographical region also matters. Okay. Why that geographical region matters is because lots of people with that Bharatiya thought are there. So as long as such people are present, that land will be sanctified. So what is that Bharatiya principle? People have reached that Bharatiya, that state of realizing Brahman are plenty. The more they are present, that place also will be sanctified. That's the understanding, which Swami has told in many discourses, sister. So that's the reality.
Yeah, here also Swami is saying the region of Brahma.
Yes.
Right? Then that is wherever you see, right? That's how.
So Manu has described what is Bharata Varsha. North there are Himalayas, south there is ocean, and he has given that description. That's a fact. So that's indisputable. Every place is not Bharat. Okay, it's like people saying Prashant Nilayam is everywhere, we find it. As soon as you make that statement, Prashant is gone. Okay, because see, blood is everywhere, but what is pumping the blood means the heart. That doesn't change. It is not a political statement. Okay, is the heart is pumping the blood means the other parts of the body cannot fight with that. Okay, that's the way it's created. That's all.
Okay.
The land, geographical piece of land also matters as Bharat. But you can be a Bharatiya if you subscribe to the belief and the practices which are prevalent in Bharat. I think that's my understanding.
I think just like, I mean, and you can be a Bharatiya staying anywhere, not necessarily in that region, but you cannot be a Bharatiya just because you're staying there also, if you're not following the principle. So it's both works, I guess.
Exactly.
Because of, I am thinking like that. Why? Because of the region of Brahma. That means Brahma is everywhere.
Yes.
So region is as taken as pole kind of only I thought of. That's why I thought this context, maybe they are bringing that, and is entire thing, and they are, as you say, they're more prevalent in that land. It's more sanctified, and we have to recognize that place as like Prashanti Nilayam. Thank you, Sai Ram.
I know it's Swami has, in a few places, Swami has said, why God takes always avatar in Bharat. He has mentioned. Why? Because the environment is such which has been preserved by rishis who have given that place that elevated state. Because of their presence and that's why it has changed. Not because of the soil per se, but the soil is sanctified by people of a certain kind. And because of the imprint which they have left, and which continues to attract such people, that location is very. So it's like, if it's like a water tap. Water can be everywhere, but only from a tap you can receive it. So you can't say, oh, water is everywhere in the river, everywhere. But when it comes to home, wherever the tap is, only the water gets pumped. So Bharat has that physical location. But physical location, not just the land, but the people who energize it, is my understanding. There are many discourses where Swami has discussed this. Okay, so I think we can move. So I think we also can learn from this that Swami says, whatever the attacks which we receive in our lives, if we go within, which is what Brother Prasad was mentioning, if we can go within, deep within, and get the help of the Lord, we will be able to withstand any problem, any challenges, which is what Swami. Okay, we can, if there are no questions, we can move on.
Just a question, like when Swami speaks of like the ancient culture of Bharat, like it seems like it was almost like an ideal society that was practicing, all the dharmic values and everything. So yet, even though it was such an ideal society and they were all, practicing dharma and everything was perfect, how could it have become so decimated? Like, why did it fall? And
Good question. Anyone would like to share thoughts? How did Adbhuta Mulakalla Adbhutam? If we are Atman, why are we deluded? Same answer. If we are Atman and we don't know that we are Atman, why? How? That is the Leela of the Lord. And there's always a cycle, and that's also a process by which I think we evolve. we should understand that creation is a cyclical event. So it goes through different phases. At different phases, it will be like that. That's also a divine play. It is not the creation of people, who are present today, that kind of a situation. But that is part of life. That's part of creation. There's also a belief, maybe it's a Swami. What they say is when human beings are born into the human race, they're first born in Bharat. Okay, then as they progress, they go around the world at different incarnations, and then they come back to Bharat as the final end. It's like a race, you start and you end. Okay, but the thing is, so there are always people who are, let's say Bharat is a mixture of places. You can have the lowest levels of evolution and the highest levels of evolution. But that's the finish line, is the way people believe. So that's also creation, God's creation, and the cycle of evolution continues for different living beings, is my understanding. Swami has touched upon some of these here and there. So the belief is that that's also divine plan, divine design for us to learn and grow. So it's like Kunti saying, give me trouble so I will think of you. So it's something of that sort, I would say. It's like, a crop, you plant, then it grows, then there's harvest, then there's nothing on the soil. The seeds are, dormant maybe, even if they're there. Then they again grow. But that's life is like that. And God is the farmer, who plows the land, sows the seeds, waters the land, and then enjoys the crop. So, divine play and leela. It's okay. That's why Swami has used the word Adbhudamul Kalla. Adbhudam. That's the wonder of wonder. That's a secret of creation.
I think in the previous chapter, I think previous paragraphs, I think the Swami was explaining about Adbhutam. I think thinking that Atma, without Atma is in the body without Atma, body doesn't exist. But it's like that connection of connecting this body, Atma, this concept itself is a miracle. But it's very difficult to understand. That's what he was talking in the earlier paragraphs, I guess. That's he is referring again here.
Thank you, brothers. Thank you. Okay. Shall we?
From this land, the embodiment of equanimity and compassion, Nanak the Great preached his highly wonderful message of love. His all-embracing heart blossomed in this land. The Bharatyas, children of this land, inheritors of this culture, spread their arms to receive in loving embrace not only the Hindu world, but the Islamic world too. Among those who shone as heroic supporters of the Hindu culture unto the last, the foremost was the Guru Gobind Singh. Undeterred by tortures that forced him to shed his own blood and the blood of his own beloved, deserted by those for whom he had undergone such torture, he did not utter a word of blame against his compatriots, but entered the Deccan and gave up his life as a king of beasts does when his heart is hurt. May that great person's fame persist forever on earth. Such eminent leaders render the whole of mankind indebted to them, for they serve the best interests of all men everywhere.
Thank you. So, brother,
Yeah,
will read.
yeah. ఇచ్చటి నుండియే సాధుమూర్తి నానక్ మహాశయుడు అత్యద్భుత రూపముగు తన ప్రేమ భావమును బోధించెను.
So, Nanak from this place taught love to everyone.
ఇచ్చటనే అతని విశాల హృదయం వికసించెను.
Here only his expansive heart blossomed.
హైందవ ప్రపంచమునే కాక మహమ్మదీయ ప్రపంచమును కూడా ప్రేమాలింగన మునర్చుటకు భారతీయులు బాహువులు చాపిరి.
So the Hindus, the Bharatiyas, not only they embrace Hinduism, they were also willing to embrace the Muslim religion, the Muslim world.
హైందవ పురుష శేఖరులందు అగ్రస్థానము వహించిన చివరి వారిలో గురు గోవింద సింగ్ ఈ భూమి యందు నిజము ఉద్ధరణము తన యొక్కయు.
Okay.
I think.
Among all the such Hindu personalities, someone who is at the highest stage is Guru Gobind Singh. He really worked towards to bring up or make this land rise.
ఈ భూమి యందు నిజమతోద్ధరణార్థము
For the sake of the upliftment of this world.
తన యొక్కయు తన ప్రియతమ యొక్కయు రక్తపాతమును కోర్చి
he sacrificed his own blood and his beloved blood also.
ఎవరికై తానట్టి ఘోరహింసలు పాలయ్యనో వారు తమను విడనాడినను.
All the people for whom he fought for, even when they gave him up.
తన దేశీయులను ఏమాత్రము దూరక దక్షిణ పదమున కేగి హృదయము విరిడిన.
So without blaming any of his people who actually gave him up, he went southwards and like the continue, brother. హృదయము
దూరక దక్షిణ పదమున కేగి హృదయము విరిలిన మృగరాజు వలె ప్రాణములు విడిచెను.
Like the lion which goes to a secluded spot and gives up its life, he also went southwards and gave up his life.
ఆ మహానుభావుల కీర్తి శాశ్వతమై నిలుచుగాక.
Let his glory, his memory remain forever.
అట్టి మహనీయులు మానవ కోటికి ఎంతయో ఉపకారం చేసిరి.
Such people have done great benefit to the entire humankind. Okay. I think one more, I think you can state.
Okay.
Oh, I think that's all, I think. Yeah, that's it. So Swami is talking about Guru Nanak and Guru Gobind Singh. Guru Gobind Singh was one of the last gurus in the lineage of Guru Nanak. Guru Nanak taught love, and Guru Gobind fought to protect Hindu Dharma. And in that way, he gave up his life because he was betrayed by his own people. Even then, he did not blame them. Swami says he went and gave up his life silently. Swami wants his memory to be cherished by everyone because he has done great benefit to the mankind with his acts.
I think Swami is just referring this as another example of the importance of Bharatiya. That's what he was trying to do in this. He just brought this story. This person also belonged to this area, who, even though all this, those who he loved them, they ditched him, but still he didn't complain, as I said, he showed the compassion instead, and they silently gave away his life.
I think a few things Swami is saying that, when one should be willing to give up sacrifice one's life to protect the Bharata Dharma. number one. And the attitude with which they fought and sacrificed is also an exemplary thing for Bharatiyas today also to follow. This, I think, Swami, that sense of sacrifice
For bigger cause.
for what cause, brother?
For a bigger cause, I think I was
For a
thinking.
bigger cause, yes. Thank you.
Guru Nanak founded Sikhism, right?
Yes.
And this, how come Swami saying having the sentence here about how they embrace Muslim world? Does it have something to do with the Sikhism?
Yeah. Anyone else would like to talk other than me? What did Guru Nanak do? In terms of, okay, no one is. So Guru Nanak was one of the first person who built bridges between Muslim invaders who came to the country and the Hindus. So he realized, I think, Bharatiyas fought and, tried to defend the country. But at the same time, they did not hate the people who came. They did not hate their belief systems. So he worked hard to embrace them also and bring about some harmony. That's what Guru Nanak did. But however, the inimical forces were not happy with that also. Because what they wanted was the complete eradication of Hindu system of belief. And Guru Gobind Singh was the one who decided that we may have to take arms to protect, because that's also part of our role in protecting our dharma. So that is how he created an army of people who sacrificed. So the belief is that he told every family to give one of their sons to that cause. And then whoever was given, with them he formed the army. And he's the one who established the way the Sikh man has to, address whatever life he should lead. And that's why, even today, everyone is supposed to carry a dagger. They're not supposed to cut their hair. So it was, all of them led a warrior life. And now it has become a separate religion by itself, which itself is funny. But it was originally set up to protect India from any inimical forces which wanted to completely eradicate the Bharatiya culture and Bharatiya belief system. So, yes, Brother Yoga.
Ramanan, that's the way they dress up same like them, I guess, to accumulate, comfort them like the, I don't know, the people who look like the Afghanistan people, same dress like Sikhs people too. That's what I understand. What is the reason? Thanks.
No, I didn't understand your question.
No, the Sikhs and the Mughalias dress up same like that. The turban, everything, and dress up same like them. That's what I asked. What some reason there behind that is?
No, that region's culture is that everyone wore turbans, everyone had beards and things like that. So that was part of there's some similarity. I think because of the culture, climate, and the traditions there. So they all dress similar way. But Sikh religion has certain belief systems. And Guru Nanak worked on bringing about harmony among Indian systems of beliefs also. He's supposed to have traveled. His Guru Granth Sahib has excerpts from everything, Ramayana, Mahabharata, Bhagavad Gita, you name it, it has excerpts from every religious thought in India is part of Guru Granth Sahib. So he tried to bring about harmony and remove enmity and wanted to bring love between people. So that's why he was one of the first who embraced Islam and tried to integrate it within Bharatiya, with Bharatiya thought, not necessarily to remove, change the way of thinking. His name itself is Nanak, is borrowed from, I think, Persian. So I'll stop here.
So he wasn't trying to start a separate religion?
all the religions were never started by the founders. It's the followers who made them into religions and organized. In many cases, it was a political interest which actually created some of these religious denominations. The people subscribed to different beliefs, and there was some, you can say in that sense, like originally the religions were established something similar to in India, like Vaishnavism, Saivism, Shaktism, Ganapatya. So there are different belief systems. That's the way originally they were created, even in the West. They were like an offshoot. I think Swami has already covered in the first chapter, how these offshoots mushroomed like, dog umbrellas, something like that. That's the way it's called. Mushroomed even in India, and they tried to dilute the Bharatiya thought. So it's the same thing with others also. The religious people who established, they did not expect it to be a separate religion. But over a period of time, it evolved into something. And that's my understanding.
So the people who betrayed Guru Gobind Singh, was it? So he was
His
also
own people. His own people. That's why Swami says the people for whom he fought for, let him down. But he did not hold any grudge for that also.
So he was also trying to bring harmony among.
I think he realized defense required certain violent encounters with people who were using violence to harm Bharatiyas. So he felt that it was necessary to take up arms, not with a sense of enmity or anger or hatred, but as self-defense, self-preservation. That's also because of love for the dharma, love for the people who practice dharma. So sometimes you will have to defend, and waging wars also is part of it. In the battlefield, from what I understand, in the battlefield, someone from his camp actually killed him from behind. And that's how he died. Backstabbed, if you want to put it that way. Yeah, that's what. I think we should, I think everyone should study some of the, when Swami mentioned some of these gurus, we should understand what their life story is, what they did, how they did. That's why Swami mentioned some of these names. We should study the life of Guru Nanak, the life of Guru Gobind Singh. That we should not forget what they did, how they did, and what they taught. All that matters. Actually, he's covered, he's Swami is calling him Mrigaraja, that's why lion. That's why all Punjabis have the name Singh. Singh means nothing but lion. That's why everyone got the name Singh, because that was Guru Gobind Singh's wish. Okay. Yes, Sai Satish, please go ahead.
Sorry, I was just going to say that what we celebrate as Diwali, Sikhs celebrate as Bandi Chor Divas.
Yes.
And that is the day Guru Gobind Singh, he had released all of these um, Hindu kings who were in captivity. So, like what Swami says, always the ideology was the preservation of the good, and I think he did all that was needed to get that unity among the people, just to defend. But the ideology subsequently um took its own shape subsequent, with several generations going by. But in essence, what Sikhs celebrate as Diwali is that day when he had freed many of these princes and kings in captivity. This was under the, I think, the Mughal rule and so on.
Thank you, Sai Suresh. So the defense, military defense started with an earlier guru called Har Gobind, but Guru Gobind was the final, last guru. Yes, Brother Yoga, please go ahead.
That's why they don't have a last name for their family name. They say the Varinder Singh is the last name for all of them, because they don't have the two names. So one of my friends stuck in the airport. That's what I understood. Is the Varinder Singh in the line? They say, where's the first name, his last name? Then he explained the name to Varinder, the first name, Singh is the last name, kind of thing. Then he asked him, what is this? He said, they don't have the first name, last name, only one name. Thank you, sir.
Oh, thanks, Anna. Thanks for the correction. Yeah, it's
Har Gobind,
Har Gobind who did, who did that.
Yeah.
Thank you.
And because Guru Gobind Singh, basically he felt that the lineage doesn't, Guru Shishya lineage need not continue, and he said, let the eternally the Granth Sahib will be the Guru. You know, the book to which everyone, all of them contributed, which is nothing but excerpts from various scriptural and religious thoughts in India, texts in India. That became their guiding light after Guru Gobind Singh. So Guru Granth Sahib is the eternal Guru of Sikh religion after Guru Gobind Singh.
What does Sahib mean?
Pardon?
What does Sahib mean in Guru Granth?
Master.
Oh, okay.
Sahib is master. I think it's more a Persian word name, maybe, but not Sanskrit, but Sahib is master.
And it's Gobind, it comes from Govinda, or?
Yes, that's many of the Sanskrit words get slightly changed due to regional flavor. So va and ba in many of the Prakrit languages, which are regional languages, they have undergone changes. Like Brindavan itself is va has become ba. Originally it's Vrindavan. Vraja becomes a Braja, things like that. Varanasi has become Banaras. There are things like that. So they go through certain changes due to regional influences. Like Hari Govind has become Har Gobind, so maybe the cold doesn't allow them to pronounce certain letters properly. So it is true, the vocal cords and the lips, are changed because of the regional climatic conditions also. So nothing. Anyone would like to discuss anything? I think there's silence. Sometimes Swami gives us this knowledge because sometimes we don't know about some of these great sacrifices of people, because Swami is giving credit to some of them for the continuation of the Bharatiya tradition. Because of their sacrifices, the Bharatiya culture was preserved. Today, many people don't know how many such great warriors gave up their life to protect what was good, what was right. So I think Swami wants us to remember them with gratitude. Whatever we are learning today is partly because of their sacrifices also. Some of these were preserved because of that. They say in the South India, no one could come because of the sacrifices done in the North. People forget. We have some of the best temples because people fought and gave up everything, lost everything, so that some of it could be preserved in the South. So this some thoughts. And so Swami rightly, wants us to understand this. And Swami himself is praising the life and sacrifice of Guru Gobind Singh. He's basically has touched the first and the last, so we have to study all of the others also. They are all contributed, and because of them that Sanatana Dharma was preserved for the benefit of the entire world. That's the way Swami is. So,
But nowadays, Sikh people would not consider themselves Hindus. Is that right?
There are some who still consider them such, but then there are some who don't. The ones who don't know the history properly, or are influenced by people who have politically motivated certain power struggles and things like that, I think. But traditional Sikh persons know, people who have studied it properly will know what was the origin of their life, how they came to be as they came to have certain practices, and what was the reason. If they knew, then it will be different. But human nature is that we don't study why, how. Because of that, people don't know. But there are people who know, they know.
But there is an inner meaning also to it, right? Why Swami is saying this? This is something we have to know, we have to something to practice too, right? Or keep in mind that too, right? So
Yeah, because sister, sometimes when someone is harming,
yeah,
okay, even if we take Swami's own legacy,
yeah,
someone is harming,
yeah.
we should speak up. We should speak up boldly. People can call anything. Because sometimes we don't speak up because our friends, they are our friends, or some selfish reasons, personal reasons. We are not willing to sacrifice anything. So this is an example of someone who gave up everything, not for their personal benefits. They feel we have to uphold the legacy of Swami. We have to learn from these people. It can be siblings, it can be friends, it can be anyone. But are we willing to sacrifice it for the higher good? It's very, very essential. Many people, because we have friendships and this and that, have gone away from Prashant Nile. It's very unfortunate. And I think people like Guru Gobind Singh establish and show us what we should do. So I think it is important. Means we should, this is what Krishna told Arjuna. You can't run away from the battlefield just because your uncles and aunts uncles and cousins are fighting on the other side. You're fighting for dharma. Even if you die, it's okay. Even if you lose everything, it's okay. Victory is not the thing. Dharma has to, I think so. This is what Krishna told Arjuna. So I think it's the same thing which Swami also wants us to know. Maybe we don't have to take up arms, but it is also a battle in the world. But it's okay. We don't have to worry about anything. The whole thing is we have to fight to preserve the legacy so that we can pass on what Swami has taught to posterity. For our own self also, we need to practice, and for other future generations also will benefit from it. And I think that's more important. That is why Swami is portraying some of these thoughts.
Interesting, Uncle, because the people who are fighting to preserve that religion or that Sanatana Dharma, then, how it has changed now and how they themselves are maybe fighting against that same. So, I mean, is there a risk of that happening as well? Like if you don't?
Guru Gobind Singh himself faced his own people, betrayed him. So that will always be there. But there are people who would have definitely benefited from his work. So the thing is, you're always going to have problems, internal problems. But in spite of that, there is also benefit also from that coming. So I would say this time, it's a good time. We formed the SSJC. This time we were able to go on a pilgrimage. There were many, even if it was a handful of people, they benefited. Children benefited. Youngsters benefited. They were able to go and experience Prashantaram and come back. It required a lot of effort. People would have called names and things like that, but the amount of sacrifice we put, somebody would have benefited. And even just a day spent in Prashantaram may be something which will last a lifetime, many lifetimes. We should have that conviction. So I think, but there will be problems, it's okay. We are all imperfect. There will be problem. But I think there's some amount of sacrifice we have to do when people like Guru Govind have sacrificed everything, including their life. What we sacrifice may be nothing. So I think that that is the reason Swami is talking about these things. Because it's very, very important. Like Swami himself left his home and came out. His own family, they had to fend for themselves. So many people sacrificed. Adi Shankaracharya left home, left his mother without anyone to support her. So such people have sacrificed a lot for the sake of Dharma, preservation of Dharma. I think we'll stop here. It's 4:33, if you get me good. So I think we can think what we have to do in our own lives. I think that's something which we have to do. And hopefully Swami will guide us. Sai Ram. We'll close with Samastaloka and meet next week again, Sai Ram. Samastaloka sukhino bhavantu. Samastaloka sukhino bhavantu. Samastaloka sukhino bhavantu. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Sai Ram, everyone.